While the more Nigeria devises strategies to tackle bandits, the more they evolve to cause mayhem. On Monday this week, armed bandits on motorbikes stormed a mosque in Maza-Kuka community of Mashegu local government area of Niger State at about 5 in the morning. They began shooting everyone on sight, killing 18 worshippers in the process. They also wounded 20 and kidnapped 7 persons. Meanwhile, the fear of the bandits is now the hallmark of wisdom in Sokoto State. After last week's massacre in Goronyo, traders now avoid weekly markets in most communities over constant attacks by bandits. Well, that's how we begin our discussions today on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. BKO, looking at the situation in Niger State, this particular narrative of what occurred on Monday, there are reports of that deadly attack now being reprisal in nature. What do you read from the information you have at your fingertips?
Well, it's a very perplexing situation. Bandits want to freely go into communities, rob our people, kill them, without expecting to be resisted in any way. And when they are resisted, they will then return to that community, especially on market days, to visit violence on the people. You can imagine bandits telling governors that, look, if you want peace, then disband the vigilante groups. They've done that in the Northwest. There is the vigilante group that was created in Zamfara and meant to protect Hausa farmers and traders. It's called Ensakai. Bandits don't want to hear about them. In communities where they know that there is a good number of Ensakai, they will deliberately get themselves armed properly and go to such communities to kill people and kill the vigilantes. So this is the situation. They don't want to hear about vigilantes. They have killed so many vigilantes in Niger State because when they began to kidnap people in Shiroro, for example, in Rijau, all of those places, the people try to resist them, they form vigilante groups. Well, every time they are resisted, they come back using Nigerian lingo now. They come back in full force to attack the community, to punish them for setting up vigilante groups meant to stand up to them. The other time when we had that 88 persons were killed in Kebbi State, it was for the same reason. Because in Kebbi, the Zuru area, the people were not used to farming for so long and then having to pay bandits before they can access their farms. So they tried to resist them. And what did we see? They came back and killed 88 persons in one day. So when people say, when ministers who cannot go around without heavy security start telling people, you need to defend yourselves, you can see the foolishness in such advice. Because the person or the people that you want civilians to stand up to,
heavily armed,
they go around with GPMG, they go around with AK-47, AK-49, rocket propelled grenades, and as we have seen with the downing of the our Alpha jet, they even now have anti-aircraft guns. So are those the people that civilians will now defend themselves against with bare hands? So when our leaders talk, sometimes you get embarrassed because you ask yourself, where is this kind of remark coming from? So this is the thing. In Niger State, we were a bit happy because we were not hearing some reports of kidnapping. It came down a little bit in the Shiroro area where it was most notorious, where those reports were always coming from. But look at what we are seeing. And that is the point that I always make, that with these people, you must not jubilate too early. You must not assume that the battle has been won. Sometimes they simply relax, waiting for one big occasion to strike. This is what we are saying. That means Niger still remains unsafe.
All right. Let me hear from Mayor. Well, I wanted to, BKO beat me to it. I wanted to, ask further how then, or what more can civilians do? Because in addition to them being told to defend themselves, they are also now, being enjoined to provide the needed information that will help government and security forces to beat the bandits or terrorists at their game. But looking at the situation in Niger, in neighboring Sokoto, and in the entire northwestern region, how do you see that, being realistic?
Let me start by saying that I acknowledge that our security forces are doing a lot of work. They're making a lot of sacrifices to protect the Nigerian people, especially our armed forces. But it seems that effort is not enough. And we have to tell ourselves the truth. This government has failed when it comes to security. Because the primary duty of government is protection of life and properties. And when you look at Nigeria now, Nigeria is very much unsafe. In fact, it's so scary that we are moving towards a major disaster, because if we are not careful, Nigeria may become ungovernable. Nigeria may become a failed state. And we are not in a outright war, but it's like that because all sections of the country are under one security challenge or the other. Before it used to be only the Northeast, but now it's everywhere. Whether it's terrorism, whether it's banditry, whether it's kidnapping, the country is becoming ungovernable, and the government have to do something about it. Having said that, it is the duty of government to protect citizens. Yes, the citizens can assist government in protecting themselves, but like Jide said, they are at a disadvantage because they don't even have the wherewithal to protect themselves. So it is unfair for government to abdicate the responsibility of protecting its citizens to the citizens themselves, because that is why we have government in the first place. People cannot resort to self-help, and in this case they are not even in a position to do that effectively because of the superior firepower of the bandits. So I still believe that we have to go back to government for the government to live up to their responsibilities of providing security for the Nigerian people.
Okay, so let us also turn our spotlight to the economic challenge or the economic disaster that we see playing out in Sokoto State. Farmers can go out to farm. Marketers, traders are now looking for days that is best safe for them to come out and trade. There are even days that they won't even come out at all. Hunger is looming, and God knows what else. Governor Aminu Tambuwal over the weekend, was reported to have urged the federal government to rethink its decision to shut down telecommunications, which he says may have been the reason behind that Goronyo massacre. BKO, where do you stand in this?
I don't think the Goronyo disaster can be blamed strictly on the shutting down of telco services. I think that increasingly we are seeing the ability of these terrorists to continue to operate with abandon despite those security measures put in place. When you look at some of the states of the Northwest, Kebbi, Sokoto, Jigawa, Katsina, they have boundary with Niger Republic, we have seen that they are able to use Nigerian telco services in those border communities. So it's a way, it's much more expensive to use the Nigerian telco services, but the bandits have the capacity to pay. The ordinary people may not want to use it because they've not got the money, but the bandit has a deeper pocket than the ordinary person because he's stolen from the people, he has money, so they use Nigerian telco services to make calls within, to make calls to their agents, to their spies and other people. So in a way, the security, that security measure is there, but we are seeing increasingly that bandits are bypassing it and getting word across to their foot soldiers, to their spies, because they've hired civilians who spy on people for them and they get paid. So this is the thing. That's why people in those distant and border communities are worried that, look, we just shut down telco services, but it's not stopping these guys from even negotiating for ransom. It's just like in Borno State, in some of the communities that share border with those three countries, because Borno has that singular privilege of being a state that shares border with three countries, Chad, Niger Republic, and Cameroon. So they are able to use the telco services of those countries in Borno State as well, and some of those local governments. So this is the thing. I believe that those measures were well thought out. They will help in a way, but those measures won't completely put an end to the activities of these guys. And those measures are also inflicting pain on our people. They are sacrificing, but as we have seen, we are dealing with people who are so entrenched, they don't want to give up this trade. So we've got to be more determined, we've got to be more focused. These local governments in Niger, before now, they were not even attacking people in the area. So we are seeing these people moving away from places that we had known them to be notorious. They are moving away from those areas. We have relative peace in most parts of Zamfara now, but they've gone into Sokoto State, and even the bandit leader, one of the most notorious bandit leaders in Zamfara, Turuji, who is still in his 20s, is believed to have moved to the border town with Sokoto. They are very mobile, so we are unable to pin them down. They've now taken violence to Sokoto. Between October 8 and October 18, they killed more than 100 people in Sokoto alone. So this is what we are facing. That's why when somebody was saying, oh, the country that you are running to, the security problems they face is greater. Nigerians shouldn't be telling people such lies. I oppose it. You can tell people that your country is a great country. We have other things by which we can sell our country to other people. But don't come and lie that there are more killings in other places than Nigeria. We are in one day, 88 people get killed. As we have seen in Sokoto, look at just a matter of 10 days, more than 100 people killed. Everyone knows that the governor can't deny. Is there anywhere else in the world that you know that people get killed with the kind of rapidity and regularity that we are seeing in our country? That means we have to address the problem and not tell people that, oh, where they are going is worse. No, people don't get killed like that in Canada. Show me an example where in one town 88 persons were killed in Canada. So let's address our problem, be focused on solving our problem instead of banal propaganda.
So we move on, to touch base on other topics. But Mayor, what will be your final take on this? First, some have said, should we brand them terrorists? Some have said, brand them. Some have said, if you do, the tide of the war they are unleashing on Nigerians will change, because now they would even get... Right. So where do you... Right.
That's just semantics. Whether you call them terrorists, whether you call them bandits, they are doing the same thing.
With
unleashing
what they're
terror
doing
on our people. So what you call them doesn't matter. But my own position is that, I said it one time, the military have to change the strategy. We discussed it on this program one time, and I said what we are having is that the military mobilize, face the bandits in a particular state, overwhelm them, and then those same bandits will retreat and move to another state. And we've been doing that all over again. The only way we can solve this problem is for the military to know that, look, we are going to go for an all-out attack, and they are going to face these bandits on all fronts at the same time. If you take them on in Zamfara, they will simply move to Sokoto. If you take them in Sokoto, they will move to Niger, because there is interconnectivity with all these states. So it's easy for that, because they are mobile. They are not in a particular place. In most times they spend their days in the bush. So it is easy for them to move around. So you have to change the strategy of taking them on at a time, because if you notice that they took them on in Zamfara, the things have gone down in Zamfara, but it has escalated in Sokoto because they keep moving around. So you have to take them on all those fronts at the same time.
All right, well, that said, we will rest our conversation on the security situation in Niger and Sokoto and other parts of the northwestern region here in Nigeria.